This is Greg Tingle reporting for Media Man Australia, Media Man International and the Media Man Group, reporting from the eastern suburbs, Sydney, Australia. I'm going to mention a few names to you and you'll soon see why. Dr. Peter Doherty, Alan Jones, Peter Crendlin, Elon Musk, Joe Rogan. What do these individuals have in common? Well, their business and media identities. Apart from that, they're credible. Apart from that, they all believe that the COVID-19 coronavirus has been massively exaggerated in Australian and global news media. Who am I for the uninitiated? Greg Tingle, media and sports agent, change agent, former journalist of 7 years, also worked in advertising, Sydney Morning Herald, Rural Weekly newspaper. I've had my own media company for 20 years. Former Australian Army Reserve award winner, 3 years service, 5 years Sydney Water Board. That's enough. What I'm demonstrating there is credibility, and I've been around the block. In today's society, there's always people willing to criticise anyone that speaks up, that goes against the grain. That's why I've mentioned some of my credentials. Many of you will know Alan Jones' credentials at Sky News Australia. He's overall very credible media figure, straight shooter. Peter Crendlin, same thing, Sky News Australia. Dr. Peter Doherty, Nobel Award Peace winner. Like, he's in the biology field, science, etc. Elon Musk, super genius, Tesla and the Boring Company. Joe Rogan, world's most successful podcaster and most likely now most famous and one of the most credible. Joe Rogan recently secured a deal to move from YouTube to Spotify in a multi-million-dollar deal. Joe covers a lot of elements of sports, politics, society, etc. So we're continuing on with our series. Our viewers may notice I've just slightly dressed different to the normal seaside updates. You can see I've got the white business shirt on. Now, it shouldn't actually mean a difference, but presentation is one element that people may look at Australia-wide and also globally. So, yes, I'm an avid ocean goer, but everybody listening and tuned in today, I am a credible media figure. I've been in this business 20 years. Okay, I've won awards for integrity, customer service, sales, project management for the likes of Telstra and Optus. I mentioned my Army Reserve credentials. So some people may look at this video and go, who is this person? Well, many of you already know me, but I just wanted to restate my credentials today. Now, it's come further to light that over 99.9% of people in Australia and the world will fully recover from coronavirus, otherwise known as COVID-19. All right, so that's over 99%. It's about 99.5%. That's coming from credible doctors and biologists, etc. Okay, some of that even comes from the WHO, the World Health Organization. A very, very low death rate. Okay, now I'm not a doctor, I'm not a biologist, but I've ran around the block and I've got a pretty good handle on things. So I believe that this is the most over-exaggerated news story in the history of mankind. Be mindful of what information you choose to believe. A couple of questions for everybody to think about. Why is it not reported that in the last 3 months the Australian and global suicide rate has gone through the roof? Why do you not read about that or hear about that? Because it doesn't suit the directive or agenda or the message. Have you heard the term stay on message. That's like a political strategy, or even if you want to go back to military type terms, The Art of War by Tingle. Okay, these are military strategies and maneuvers, tactics. Okay, so it doesn't suit the many elements of the media to talk about things like suicide rates. It doesn't suit them to talk about things much like domestic violence. It's not suiting them to talk about much things such as people losing their homes and these kind of things. So everybody, I encourage you to check numerous sources on news stories. There are science and medical elements to it. There are also about a dozen other elements to this coronavirus COVID-19 situation. So it goes back to a strain that's been around for numerous decades, okay, related to SARS. Build up your immune system. So stay healthy or get healthy. Look after your diet. Do exercise, okay? You're talking about something that's been described from numerous doctors as similar to a bad cold or flu or, influenza or whatever, okay? So it's been blown up out of proportion. Sorry to break the news to you folks. Some of you would have already been aware of that, okay? So it might be a good idea to not watch too many news broadcasts. So thank you for watching ours today. But I think you'll be all feeling better if you stop watching so much television, as in television, as in they tell you, or reading so many newspapers with all those alarmist type of words in there, like killer or fearful, or all of those sort of words that some of those newspapers and media organisations like to use. That's called an alarmist term, okay? So what we're doing today is we're using normal language and giving it to you straight. Okay, so look up the Joe Rogan podcast with Joe Rogan interviewing Elon Musk and see what he has to say. Look up Sky News Australia, Alan Jones, Peter Crendlin, amongst others. Use your critical thinking, use your intuition, be healthy, eat well, exercise, build up your immune systems. I encourage you, don't buy into the fear factor, okay? Over the coming week or two, we're going to be writing up a more scientific based article. Another thing, be aware of, have you ever heard of the facts, or what about the truth? For me, I would prefer the truth over the facts. A military strategy and a political strategy is, if you tell a lie enough of the general public will start to believe that lie. Look up that book I mentioned, The Art of War by Tingle. Look up books and journals on political strategies and military strategies. You'll soon get the picture. But everybody, I encourage free will, freedom of speech, free independent thought, free thinking. Make up your own minds about everything in the world. As a media person who cares about the world and its people, I wanted to bring this report to you. Media for good, not media for fear, not media for evil, media for good. That's a privilege I've got because I run my own company. So I'm not lassoed by an editor or a chain of management who can be corrupted by dark forces. My audience, you're aware of dark and white, yes? Okay. So, in the history of the world, you know about many elements of social engineering, political strategy, the patched history of the media reporting. Everybody, just do your research and you can draw your own conclusions. Big shout again to Sky News Australia. Have a look at RT America. Look up that podcast, Joe Rogan and Elon Musk, the Joe Rogan Experience. Smart, ethical, I believe truthful people, or at least for the most part. Everybody, find your own truth. Be well. I look forward to hearing your responses. You've been watching Media Man Group, Media Man International, Media Man Australia. I'm Greg Tingle. Thank you.